Hello everyone and welcome to today's video. Today I'm going to be going through the 2026 updated US House map and going through each state and where things currently stand on redistricting. Now there's a lot going on and I'm going to try and do this as quickly, as concisely as possible. So if I do miss any information on the state, I do apologize, and make sure to leave it down in the comments section below and I'll try to amend it and such for future videos. So for the state of Alabama and its congressional map, it's going to remain pretty much as it is right now without really anything too much to change for 2026. Alaska, obviously, it's just the one district at large. Republican Nick Begich, in all likelihood, is going to win re-election unless we see Democrat Mary Peltola run for this race again in 2026. But for now, probably going to expect that one to stay the way it is. Arizona, I don't believe there's anything going on there in terms of redistricting. I've not heard anything, and given that it's essentially a 50-50 state with a Democratic governor, I don't think we're going to see anything really happen here. Now, as for the overall House map, however, two Republicans are up, Juan Ciscomani in Arizona 6, and Arizona Dave Schweikert, the Republican. Both of these races are very close and very competitive for 2026, and if the Republicans or Democrats win the House, these two races could make a very big difference in deciding which party does that. Now, this video is not going to serve as like a prediction video that I usually do. This is going to be more of like an educational video about what's going on. So for Arizona, the two races you're watching are Arizona 1 and Arizona 6. Now in the state of Arkansas, the map is pretty much drawn in the way it is. We're likely not going to see any changes there. California, there is a redistricting effort happening in the state right now. Democratic Governor Gavin Newsom has gotten the voting measure to be on the ballot for 2026. Now, or for 2025, I'm sorry, for November of 2025, if that referendum passes, it will allow the state legislature in California to redraw the congressional map. Now, here's what the rumors have been for the state of California. For one, it would cement all Democratic seats, including California 47, which is held by the Democrat Dave Min, and California 13, which is held by Democrat Adam Gray. So Arizona, I didn't fill in because it's not going to be redistricted. California will be. It will cement the Democratic wins. Now, what it will also do is it's attempting to flip 5 Republican seats. For one, it will reflip 3 Republican seats that are currently listed narrowly in the GOP's column in California 22, in California 40, and California 41. These have been the 3 confirmed Republican seats the map will definitely look to redistrict. The other 2 seats that they're targeting are Republican seats that are more conservative that they're attempting to split up and make more Democratic. And this would be Kevin Kiley in California 3 and Darrell Issa in California 48. If Newsom's referendum passes and their map is redrawn the way that's expected to be, this is what the rumored map would essentially look like. Obviously, the lines would be drawn much differently, but this is what the Democrat composition in California would end up looking like. So at this point, just going alphabetically through California, the Democrats would be up about 5 House seats. Now, in Texas, you may also notice that they have already redrawn the map, but I'll get into Texas in just one moment. Colorado, again, I don't think there's going to be any redrawing going on here. The most competitive district in Colorado is Gabe Evans in Colorado 8. He very narrowly won it in 2024. I can actually pull this up here if you want to see the exact results. Evans only won it by 0.73%, so this is a very close race to watch for 2026 in Colorado 8. So that one's there. Connecticut, unless something really shocking happens in Connecticut 5, everything will probably remain in the Democratic column. Delaware, 1 district at large, Sarah McBride should win that one, no problem. Florida is very interesting because Ron DeSantis has said he wants to redraw the congressional map in Florida. Now, nothing has officially happened yet, but assuming DeSantis is correct and he will be able to redraw the map, Democrats could be in some real trouble in the state. Because if he's able to do it, we're likely going to see 5, as DeSantis has said, 5 Democratic seats be called out. First being Kathy Castor in Florida in the Tampa area. This one is one to watch for. Florida 9 with Darren Soto is listed as a target. Jared Moskowitz district in Florida 23. And then you're probably looking 2 of these districts down here. Let's say Florida 20. And then you could pick between Florida 22 or Florida 25 or 24. We'll just say 25 for now. If Ron DeSantis is able to successfully redistrict Florida, these would be the 5 seats that he's targeting. Again, this is not confirmed to be happening 100%, but DeSantis and state Republicans have leaned that they want to do this and redraw Florida. So just for the sake of today's video, let's just say DeSantis can do this and flip the congressional map Florida 5 seats for the Republicans. If they were able to do this, again, big if, this would get Republicans up to 212. Now, Georgia right now is going to remain probably the way it is. Hawaii will remain safe for the Dems. Idaho will remain. Illinois, J.B. Pritzker said he wants to try and redraw the map in Illinois to maybe make it even more Democratic friendly. And the way it's currently drawn right now, it's already pretty democratically maxed out. It's possible that he could redraw the map and try and make it more democratic, but for now we're going to leave Illinois the way it is. Indiana, Republicans, this is one of the first states that kicked it off. Republicans want to redraw the map to get rid of Indiana 1 and Democrat Frank Mervyn. And if they were to do this, that'll get Republicans up to 213. Now for Iowa, things are not going to be redrawn here, but there are a lot of close races, including in Iowa 1 with Marinette Miller-Meeks and Iowa 3 with Zach Nunn. If Democrats do very well in the midterm election environment in 2026, we may very well see Democrats winning both Iowa 1 and Iowa 3, and maybe getting a little bit more competitive in Iowa 2 now that Ashley Hinson is running for Senate. But 1 and 3 are the main seats to watch for in the state of Iowa. Kansas, Republicans are hoping to redraw the 3rd Congressional District of Sheriff Davids in the redistricting. Even though Florida, we're pretty confident is going to happen, Kansas is a lot more of a mixed bag. President Trump and the Republicans in Kansas would love to do it, but Democratic Governor Laura Kelly, having the veto power right now, is currently keeping the Democrats for sure losing this 3rd Congressional District. Kentucky is probably going to remain the way it is. The 6th District could be more competitive, but I think it stays red for now. Louisiana, unless something changes, will remain. Maine is going to be very close with Jared Golden versus Paula Page in the 2nd District. That's going to be an important one to watch for. Maryland, Westmoreland's threatened to try and redraw the map from Republican to Democrat and Andrew Harris. Maryland, I do believe they do have a super majority for the Democrats. So let's just say for the sake of hypothetical reasons that the 1st District goes to the Democrats now. Massachusetts, all Democrat will remain. Michigan, 2 very close races. In Michigan 10, John James. Michigan 7, Tom Barrett. Minnesota, again, 1 competitive race in the 2nd District with Andrew Craig retiring, but no gerrymandering or redistricting going on there. Mississippi will remain. Missouri, 1 district in the 5th District just passed a law that this district will be getting redrawn and added to the Republican category. That will be happening. That one we know for sure will be happening for 2026. Montana will remain the way it is. Nebraska, the reports are that President Trump and the Republicans are trying to redraw the map to make Nebraska 2 more of a Republican seat. Again, this one's a little bit more, we have to wait and see how this goes, but for the sake of this video, let's just give the Republicans Nebraska 2 and redraw the map. This is where redistricting is currently standing right now. Nevada, Democrats have redrawn the map back in 2020, actually, to give them a very good hold over Nevada with 4, 3, and 1 all being in the pretty reliable blue category. New Hampshire's 2 districts could be competitive, but will probably remain Democratic. New Jersey, 1 competitive race that's up in New Jersey's 7th District. Democrats, there hasn't been a ton of rumbling about trying to redraw their map in New Jersey in 2026. That one could potentially give the Democrats an extra seat or 2, especially in maybe solidating the blue vote in New Jersey's 7th District. But overall, I think New Jersey will probably remain the way it is. New Mexico, again, 1 competitive seat in the 2nd District, but will not be redrawn. New York, if New York does get redrawn, which Kathy Hochul was one of the first Democrat governors to say they would love to do, the only targets for New York would be Mike Lawler in New York 17 for sure, and then maybe trying to draw out Nicholas LaLauda in New York 1, and then maybe trying to redraw Elise Stefanik's New York 21 district. New York, for now, I'm going to leave as is, because I have not heard a lot of rumblings on New York. But if it does get redrawn, there could be some potential for some big Democratic gains in the state of New York. North Carolina, 1 closed district with Don Davis. Otherwise, probably will not be redrawn. North Dakota state at large will not get redrawn. Ohio, the rumor is that Republicans are going to redraw the map for the mid-decade redistricting. That one we know will be happening. We just don't know what the map will be yet. The rumor has been for a while that Republicans will get Ohio 9, Ohio 13, and Ohio 1. That would be the rumor out of Ohio at this current point in time. Oklahoma will remain as is. Oregon will probably remain as is. Pennsylvania, some very close races, but in terms of redrawing, there won't be anything going on there. Rhode Island, nothing to happen there. South Carolina, nothing to happen. South Dakota at large. Tennessee is going to remain the same it is. Texas, so Texas, according to the map, has already been updated. So you're already getting a few seats here, like Al Green's Texas 9 is going to be an automatic Republican flip. You have Texas 32 with Julie Johnson, an automatic Republican flip. And you have Texas 35's automatic Republican. And I do believe you do have one more district as well. And I think it's Texas 20 or one of these seats, Texas one of these seats around the Austin area is a Republican flip as well, with Texas 28 and Henry Cuellar becoming more competitive. Monica De La Cruz, oh, here it is. Texas 34, Vicente Gonzalez is a lean Republican win. Texas 15, likely Republican, and Henry Cuellar's 28th could be 50-50 that Republicans could win in Texas. So that one's been redrawn. Utah right now, it's looking like based on the lawsuit that the 4th district will be redrawn. So this would actually be a Democratic flip of the House map for 2026 if this lawsuit were to go through. So for today's video, we'll go through that. Vermont will remain obviously state at large. Virginia will not be redrawn in all likelihood, but some very close races in the 2nd and 7th district, and maybe potentially in the 1st one. I have a video coming out on that. Washington will not be redrawn in all likelihood. West Virginia will remain. Wisconsin, it's interesting. Wisconsin kind of sparked this whole conversation about redrawing the congressional map. For 2026, several lawsuits have been filed trying to redraw Wisconsin's map. For now, it doesn't look like anything's going to happen, but even if it doesn't, one very close House seat in Wisconsin's 3rd district is going to be up in 2026, and maybe the 1st district if it does get redrawn there. In Wyoming's at large. So based on everything that I've personally heard right now in redrawing, Republicans would get up to about 216 seats, Democrats up to about 202, with still 17 seats up for grabs. I didn't want to touch any of the seats currently listed as toss-up in the states that we know are probably not going to be getting redistricted, or at the very least, there's not been any rumblings about them getting redistricted. Now, for some states like Florida has not been official that they're going to be redistricting yet, but Republicans like Ron DeSantis have been very specific in wanting to redistrict, which is why I went ahead and did it. You could easily make the argument that these seats remain the same and don't redistrict. That would bring the Democrats up to about 207, Republicans down to about 211, so it would be a much closer House fight on that regard if you did that. But I think Florida, we ultimately will see it getting its map redrawn, as DeSantis and Republicans there have been very bullish on that. In Texas, again, I don't want to fill in any of the toss-ups now because we don't know the election environment for 2026 yet. I wanted this video to serve more as like an educational piece of where things are going. Kansas, Republicans would love to redraw the Kansas map. The 3rd district, though, it's going to be a tough flip due to the fact that the Democratic governor of Kansas, Laura Kelly, would veto any new congressional map that draws out a Democrat. So Republicans would need to have a veto-proof supermajority to redo the map and also survive any Supreme Court legal issues. I'm not sure if they're going to be able to do that. We can even just say for the sake of argument that they can, but even then I'm still very skeptical that would happen. If that did, that would get Republicans up to 217. Democrats are at 201. At this point, the map is looking pretty bleak for the Democrats if this all essentially were to go the Republicans' way. Now, a few of the seats I went over that are not being redrawn currently, that could be redrawn, like I mentioned. First, we'll go to Wisconsin, where again, which kind of started all of this. Wisconsin, if they redraw their map, we could see the 3rd district definitely flip. We could see the 1st district flip, and then maybe Democrats could try and draw out one of Scott Fitzgerald in Wisconsin 5, maybe Tony Weed in Wisconsin 8 or something like that. But at least Democrats should be able to get 3 and 1 in that potential redistricting. The next most likely state would probably be New York, where again, I think it would look something like Mike Lawler would be redrawn. Maybe New York 1 with Nicholas LaLauda gets redrawn, and then you're looking at maybe at least Stefanik's district going. You could see something like this out of New York maybe, but a lot of really heavy redistricting would have to go on for that to happen. But you could at least see Lawler's district and LaLauda's district potentially be in jeopardy of flipping there. New Jersey, if they were able to make it happen, I think Democrats could maybe guarantee a flip in New Jersey 7th with Tom Keene's district. That could be certainly possible. New Jersey 4 and 2 are currently pretty red based on the way they're currently drawn. So unless the Democrats really radically redraw the map, like maybe 4 could be taken away or maybe 2, but it's going to be a very tough fight on that one in New Jersey. So if you did that to kind of counterbalance it a little bit, that would get the Democrats up to 206, Republicans 214. If Pritzker's right in Illinois, maybe the Democrats can redraw the map to try and get another Democratic seat out of the Republican one. Maybe they can redraw out Darren LaHood in Illinois 16 or something like that. That would get the Democrats up to 207. So redistricting right now, I think the bottom line is it's very much up in the air in a lot of places. Again, based on the current consensus map, it's Republicans at 212, Democrats at 202. And you can add for sure into the consensus ranking Missouri 5. That will be ending up going for the Republicans now. But the rest of the map, 213 for the Republicans, 201 for the Democrats, still a lot of redistricting up in the air for 2026 and how that will go. So it's a very important map to keep an eye on for 2026 and how it all ultimately ends up going in places like Florida and California, and maybe in places like Nebraska, Kansas, Wisconsin. We could have a completely different House map by the 2026 midterm elections than we currently do today. So very much still up in the air. I want to do this video to try and help out and educate as much as possible, but certainly if there's anything I missed, again, make sure to leave a comment below. Tell me where I did miss it and how I can address that going forward. Thank you so much for watching. Please remember to hit like and subscribe if you enjoyed this video. Make sure not to miss my upcoming videos. I post multiple every day that you're not going to want to miss. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you in a future video.